Hi guys, it's Shar. Welcome back to my channel, Craftin' Up a Storm. Today I have another in the 5 Under 5 challenge series. This month's theme is Farmhouse Christmas. It's right around the corner. So hopefully you are inspired by some of these easy and inexpensive projects. I will go into detail about this challenge and the hosts and the co-hosts for this month in my video. Please check out the entire playlist. You will get a ton of inspiration and ideas, all on a very good budget. Let's get crafting. For this first project, I am redoing this fall farmhouse dupe from Wayfair that I had in last month's 5 Under 5 video. What I did was I used some of the plank signs from Dollar Tree. I cut them down to roughly 9 inches, 8 inches, and 7 inches each. I then took those and painted them and put some popsicle sticks to use as frames. I used my miter shears and I made frames around the outside. I did go ahead and do a 45-degree angle, but you can just use the pieces to frame out your blocks. Then I put some putty to fill in the gaps and I sanded it down. So what I'm going to do for this one is remove the vinyl lettering that I had before. I do make new vinyl lettering and it will now say Merry on the top and Christmas on the bottom. These vinyl letters I was able to pick off, but the pumpkins were rub-on transfers, so I just painted over with the ivory chalk paint, and I painted the smallest and the longest with the red crimson chalk paint. Now I'm going to go in and distress, and I'm just using the same ivory on it to get everything cohesive. I go in pretty heavy handed, almost like it was once red and then it was painted ivory and that's worn off back down to the red a bit. So I did go in pretty heavy. I left the middle piece for now. I will take care of that later. Next, I'm going to use some stickers, the wooden sticker packet from Dollar Tree. I wanted some Christmas trees without any decoration on it. So I took the glitter ones and I flipped them over and took the sticker off the back. I'm using some Americana grass green paint, but I watered it down really well. So it's just a wash over the top of these trees. I want them to look pretty natural. Now I'm going to go in with the antique wax on the frame of this middle one. And I kind of rub it on and then I get a clean cloth and I really buff it around, and it makes it go a little bit farther and also evens it out a bit. So I go in and really rub it in good. Because I wanted all of these to match, I did go around the outside of the red ones with the antique wax as well, once I had finished this one. And you can see I did the Merry Christmas on the other signs. I'm now going to attach my Christmas trees, but they are a little bit bigger, so they sit on top of the frame. So I'm going to put 2 pieces of popsicle stick together, glued to the back. And that's what I use to pop up the Christmas trees on here. I started with the 2 outside trees and then I worked the 2 inside trees. That way I kind of make it pretty even. And I just popped those on and glued them in place. And now I have this sign redone and I can use it for Christmas. What do you guys think? For the next project, I grabbed some snowflakes at Dollar Tree. Now I do have the small package of snowflakes, but I didn't use it for this project. I am going to paint them at the same time because I did use them for another project in this video. I just used the 4 that came kind of hanging together. I did paint them all, but I only used 3 of the snowflakes. So I'm going to take them all apart and I'm going to paint them with folk art metallic silver paint. So I'm going over all of it with several coats just to make sure it's nice and shiny. Once that was done, I'm going to take some metallic pearl white folk art paint and I'm just dabbing that with a sponge. Now I do a couple of coats of this because I want to get that white to show up, but I want it to be I don't want it to be solid. I want to just dab it on and it's going to make it kind of look like the hammered metal a little bit. Once I was done with that, I used skewer sticks. These are extra from picks that I had pumpkins on in fall. So I didn't pay for any of these. I just reused them. They are a little bit thin, possibly using maybe even the wire from some floral picks would be good. But I just wanted to stand them up. Now I took 3 tumbling tower blocks and glued them end to end, and I did that twice so I could make a stand for these. I'm putting some glue on one of them and I'm going to lay the snowflake picks on it, kind of in the pattern I already decided I wanted. And then I'm going to add some more hot glue and I'm going to sandwich this on top of it. Now, obviously, the picks are still in between, and so there is a bit of a gap. Once it's dried, it does hold it pretty good, but once I can stand it up, I do add some extra glue to kind of fill in that small gap a little bit. And then anything that came up over the top, I will kind of shave off, and that way there's no glue showing. Here I'm filling in that gap, and you can go from the top and you can go from the bottom and kind of fill that in. That makes it good and sturdy. Now I'm going to go ahead and go in with some elephant chalk paint and paint that base. I'm painting the top of it because I am going to go ahead and put some twine around the bottom. I used a little bit thicker twine on mine. I think any twine you have will work, but I had some thicker twine, so I used it on the bottom. Let me know what you guys think of that one. This one was super easy. I picked up this floating shelf from Dollar Tree and this candle holder, and I glued the shelf onto the top of the candle holder. You can see that it kind of pokes out the back, but it's not a problem. You don't really see it. I used hot glue, but if you want to make it really good and sturdy, maybe an E6000 or something permanent would be better. I got a white candle holder and a white shelf, and now I'm just going to distress the shelf out with some elephant chalk paint. I ended up going pretty heavy around the candle holder. So then I ended up going back in with some white chalk paint and lightening it up a little bit. I just kind of played with it. And of course, you guys do what works for you. You can go red and green since this is for Christmas. You can just paint them a solid color. You don't have to distress them. I was kind of go for kind of an antique-y look with all the projects today. So I did go in and distress it. And the fact that each of these items are different materials, they don't distress quite the same, which is kind of why I went in a little heavier and then put some more white on top of it to take it away a little bit. Just kind of keep going. Even if it's not looking exactly like you kind of think it's in your head supposed to look, if you just keep going and maybe try something different or start all over again, paint it completely white with the white chalk paint and start from scratch. I got this all colored in, and now I'm going to go in with that white and take some of that back. I glued some of those small snowflakes to the front. Now these snowflakes, I did do silver as well, but I put a little extra and a little bit more solid of the pearl white on the front of these. But essentially I painted them the same as I did the larger ones in the last activity. If you wanted them to blend in, you can make them just pure white. You can use some of the other woods ornaments, however you want to decorate it. Every month, this challenge is put together by hosts Missy from Crafty Cove and Emily from Farm Charm Chic. They are talented women. You have to check out their channels. This month's guest host is Krista from Krista's Crafty Life, and she's got a lot of wonderful ideas. Be sure and check out her channel and enjoy the playlist. For this next project, I picked up a wooden sleigh and some wooden ornaments from Dollar Tree. I did already have the furniture markers in my stash. You can also use some of the small snowflake ones that I had them left over from that package. I only used a few of the snowflakes, 4 I think, and I think 8 came in a pack. I'm showing that you could stretch it out and use those as well. However, I'm going to use one of the Christmas trees in this project. I don't want to have the star on the top of the Christmas tree. I kind of want it to be just more simplistic. So I am going to go ahead and cut it off. I kind of tried to round the top of the tree a little bit as well too. I went in and filed it down and it came out good. I'm using the darkest of all of them. I believe it's the mahogany of the pins. And I'm doing the little crevices in between first, and then I'm going to color this all in. I like to get it all colored in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it with some alcohol. And I'm using a pretty strong, like a 91% alcohol spray. I don't know how much of a difference it makes to use a lower percentage one, but I have these specifically for crafting. I just go in over the whole top of it, and then I use an old rag because it will stain. And I just wipe a lot of it away. And I just continue doing this process several times. I did do a little bit of sanding in between only because I thought maybe I was done, but then I did another set, and I just let it stay on there for a while, and then I really rub it off very good with that a good tough towel. This is probably something you might want to wear gloves for as well too. That alcohol is pretty harsh on your hands. Once I was down to where I liked it, it was just a stain and it was very rustic and old looking, I did go in with my sanding block and sanded it down, especially the edges. I want it to look old and worn. Now I'm using some, I think it's Anita's foliage. And I'm watering this down as well too. It's just a different color green, but I'm watering it down good. And using it on my Christmas tree just as a stain as well. Everything's going to look a bit vintage in my projects today. I have my tree done, and then I did paint the rungs of this with mineral chalk paint. Now I'm going in with Moonstruck on this top piece, and I'm kind of just giving it a little bit of a shine to it with the Moonstruck. Just highlighting it a little bit and giving it some, so it's not a solid texture. I guess distressing it a little bit with the light Moonstruck. Now I'm going to go in with the elephant chalk paint on this. And I just added some distressing wherever you're going to see it. So I even added it to the tops I did end up going in a little bit on the edges of that top piece with the elephant as well too. Now I'm going to glue down my Christmas tree and watch this. I drop it. That's wonderful. So now I have some glue to try and get off, and I did start to kind of wipe it away. I needed to let it just dry and peel it off. I was worried about it peeling some of the color away. But because this is more of a stain, it didn't too much. I ended up sanding it down a little bit on that side, and then I sanded the other side to kind of match, and it just added to the distress. Now I'm going to use one of the already made plaid bows from a Dollar Tree and add it to the top, and I did trim the tails on it a little bit. This last project was super easy as well. I picked up one of the house frames from Dollar Tree and these house mirror stickers. And I'm going to use 3 of those. I painted the house completely. I believe I used the plaster paint on that, and I just painted it completely, all the sides and inside. Now I'm going to use some mineral on the tall house, French linen on the heart house, and I believe I used Moonstruck on the very small house. I did also flip the heart house and the small house over, and I painted the back because I wanted the chimneys to be on the other side. Now I have a brush tree from Dollar Tree, and I hated to do it because I love these little trees so much, but I needed to be able to have one side flat. So I did trim off the bottom, and I'm trimming one of the backs. Now, these bristles are just sandwiched in between the 2 wires that are spiraled. So I can't cut it too close. I don't want it to just completely fall apart. But I am trimming it pretty good, and I am going to use a lot of glue on the back of it. So I'm going to put my glue down on the inside of my house and glue my tree down. Make sure it's got some good glue in the middle. Now, once I did this, the bottom of the tree still stands out quite a bit, and I can't put those houses flat. So I did have to go in and add some Jenga blocks or the tumbling tower blocks to the outside. And it just so happened that 2 tumbling tower blocks were exactly the width on the bottom, and I put 1 up each side to attach my houses to. This would be really cute to put some little fairy lights in the back of it as well. I'm going to glue my tall house on this side, and I'm just making sure it goes straight into the corner. Now, the heart house on the other side, I ended up going off the edge just a little bit so that chimney helped hide the tumbling tower block underneath. And then I popped the small little Moonstruck house to the front. And that's my little Christmas house sign. You could add a little clip to it. You could add a tag to it. You can add maybe a metal word or something across the top, however you want to decorate it. I just kept it very simple on this one. It killed me, but I didn't distress anything on this one. I did, however, wrap a little bit of twine around the bottom, just for an added detail. Here are all my projects together. Let me know which one was your favorite. And I hope you enjoyed all of these videos, and if you did, give me a great big thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I'd love to have you as part of the crafty family. Have a great day, and as always, keep crafting.